Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Are you hey okay? In your neck of the woods, what up? What up? Manners and respect, man. I your girl, Debbie from Dongayard. Welcome you all to the Jamaican kitchen. Welcome once more. It is the Jamaican cooking journey. If you're new right on over here, special welcome. Those of you who were there with me from the beginning of this journey and you're still here, manners and respect. On today's episode of the Jamaican cooking journey, I'll be sharing with you a cornmeal pudding. I think I did one years ago, but it was a little whop up low key pudding, low key cornmeal. I did call it a low key cornmeal pudding. So I'm gonna be sharing with you today a just a standard little Jamaican cornmeal pudding where we are making our household from time to time. So I'm gonna share that with you. Not much of a difference. I'm just adding probably one ingredient more than what my mother would add, and so. But you can do your thing. First and foremost, you want some freshly squeezed coconut milk, and your coconut milk must be really rich. If you are using the canned ones, make sure you use at least 2 or something. It can't be the little stretchy long water coconut milk, because the strength of the coconut milk gives the cornmeal pudding that nice flavor, because you know coconut milk gives a lot of flavor. Now what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking some of this, I'm going to be throwing out some of this milk out here because we want it to spice it up to make that little something up on the top. That little soft top, or in Jamaica say, we say the wetty something on the top. So I'm going to be pouring out some of it, wow, like probably about that, and so. So to this that I have left now, I'll be adding 1 tin of evaporated milk. Alright, so normally when it comes to this time of the year coming to Easter, my mother was always making pudding, cornmeal or potato, whichever she have. Okay, so this is how it looks when you put the evaporated and the coconut milk. This is just my thing together. Now I'm putting in some sugar. Pudding must have little sweetness in it. If you're diabetic, you use less sugar. So as with other baking, you have wet and you have dry. I'm trying to use this small. In Jamaica, we call this a pudding pan. The bottom is this way and the top is wide. My mother always bakes her pudding in a pudding pan. The wider, more wider the thing, the quicker your pudding bake. When you put it in this tie up thing, forever it takes to bake. And let me tell you, no pudding no bake in no 1.5 or 45 minutes. No pudding no bake in them over there. In them time then, over the time they farm. You know, pudding is something that is hard to bake. However, we're gonna use the pre-cooked method before baking today. That is an old school thing that our mothers and our grandmas and our aunts, they would scald the pudding before you put it on, which make it takes a less time to bake. It bakes easier. Okay, so we're going to be applying that method today, the pre-cooked method, to this cornmeal pudding. In back then days, some of you are watching Jamaicans, and I don't know about other Caribbean countries, we call it scalding the pudding. So we're going to apply that method today before we put it into our baking pan, and you'll see how it goes. So this is here. I am preparing my wet mixture and my wet ingredients. So to this, of course, we are going to put some rum. Good old Jamaican wines. Yo, me are going to put like a, that look like a drink of rum. Where you say, Dad? Say hi, Dad.
Hi.
Yeah, and we are going to put like, yeah, a drink of red label and a little more too. That's what we do. We use it to flavor up our pudding, and don't mind those who are going to say it's a lot of alcohol. Remember, say it's going at the eating. We are going to cook it halfway and then we are bake it. We're going to add some vanilla. And I honestly would love to have some of that yellow almond. I put enough of the vanilla because pudding is supposed to put enough vanilla. And mind you, I am not measuring anything. We never measure the pudding. This is straight almond and this is good. And here somebody comment in the last, I think it's the bun, saying too much of that almond. That amount of almond that Debbie put, it will overpower. No, darling. If me not clip up on nothing else, me clip up on then something your almond. Me know where we, if you go back and watch that video, you will see I didn't put a lot. I did not put a lot, okay? I did not. This is straight almond, not rose water almond. This is just almond. All right, so that is what we have for the wet. Also, I'm gonna put a little salt in this to help to bring the flavors that I've put here together. So I'm putting that in there, and I'm still gonna put a little in the dry one. So this is what is happening. The sugar is in there, and we'll leave it because we want it to dissolve out. Now all I have here is cornmeal and flour, and if you can look through, you see it's a lot of cornmeal and a little bit of all-purpose flour. I normally sometimes use bread. I would use a few pieces of bread, but because me I go scald it, you'll see what happens when I scald it. So me have my cornmeal in there. Yeah, so this is the amount of cornmeal I have, and then I have this amount of flour. I'll put the proportionate measurements for you in the description. Okay, so to this now I'm gonna add my cinnamon powder, and of course me now go measure nothing. Cinnamon powder, and I'm gonna add some grated nutmeg. I think I have mixed spice, but me still can't find it. I might go off camera. Yeah, pudding, you have to put good amount of them in there, because you see the caramel something there. And I am gonna go now to grate my nutmeg. I'm gonna add all of this size of nutmeg in there. I'm back, found my mixed spice, and I'm gonna put a little in there. Not too much, because this thing is really strong. You know, my melted butter, melted and cool. So you don't want to put it in there hot when you see it up at the top. Just that on top there, you don't want it like that. So I put in my little mixed spice. I'm gonna put some raisins, some dried raisins, and I'm gonna put like about a handful or 1.5 handful of the dried raisins in here, and I'm gonna put it in the dry mixture. If you have the one that was soak, I do have, but I'm just gonna use this. So I'm gonna mix this thoroughly together, get all my sugar dissolved, and then I'm gonna return. A little bit of cherries, so I had to chop them. I wanted them just the same size of the raisins, just like when you slice the pudding, when it's finished, it have the nice little, you know, scattered look, a little red cherries in there. I am going to put a little salt inside here, you see. I can't find, so I'm just gonna measure with my hand, because I have some in there already. So I'm gonna put about this, okay? And everybody knows say me and a salt somebody, but I don't like a lot of salt. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to put something together properly, not for yourself only but for other people, you have to put. And there are some things, oh, that are too much salt. Look, I don't put a lot of salt. I don't really over salt things. I don't join that gang. Let me try to stay far from it. But you know, people might look from their angle and it looks like it's like a lot when it's really not a lot. Gonna put a little bit of a ginger powder in there, not too much ginger powder. And this is cornmeal, so I think this good. In that? Yeah. No want it taste too much in it. Right. And a potato, so put that little bit in there. So now I'm gonna mix through. These are all my dry ingredients, and this is my wet. And this, if I had the yellow almond, you would see it more yellow. This is the butter in there. So this is what your liquid must look like for the cornmeal pudding, and also for all of your other puddings. All right. So the cornmeal now will take this liquid here. So let me put this together, mix it thoroughly together. What I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be using the liquid to go into the dry a little at a time. Alternately, you know it, but you must make sure that you get your flavor in this. This is what you must have the flavor in at first. So I have gone ahead off camera and I have done just that. Right, so So I'm cutting it in, I'm folding it in. And you see, you have the cornmeal look because we are baking. What kind of pudding, Dad?
Cornmeal.
Okay. So I make sure say all of them dry cornmeal they coat up before I put no more. Yeah. Gonna put in some more. You don't want the pudding come too dry, you know. And back here, when it dry, come like a building block. When the pudding cool, not dry, it look like what, Dad? Building block. So look at this. Looking really nice so far, Dad.
Yeah, man.
What do you think about that?
Good color.
Yeah, nice color for caramel pudding. Please comment. Yeah, Dad brought molasses, but I said no. We don't want our caramel something turn. And I like that. Yeah. You could at this point put a little more and put it in the oven. But we are going to pre-cook it before we put it in our baking pan. So may I put some more? As we start to cook it, we are gonna need, none of them you can't stir it. Them a little tin wooden spoon. You need one of the original one that is thick. Because as it cooks, if you know about cornmeal, it thickens. So you have to go put on something in it now and make sure you go monitor it. But you will see it. So let me continue. And I'm gonna mix this thoroughly smooth and nice and return. This is what it looks like. Now you have got to taste anything else you want, you put it in there. Up to you. You could add a little some of them little liqueur, any little nice, you know, clear color, vanilla or something liqueur. You could add some rum cream, you could add some Irish cream and all of that to make it more nice. Do your thing. I don't have any of those. If I add, I would certainly put, yeah. So you want it this consistency. See, that was on the spoon, so you make sure you mash it out. As remember, you know, when the heat catches the cornmeal, it thickens. So you want to make sure it's all lump free. I'm going to turn it out into Jessie very carefully. You see what it looks like? Yeah. Turn it out in a Jessie. Now we're going to put it onto a very high heat right here. And we're going to cook it. Back in the days, my parents, my mother would say, she's gonna scald it. She always does it. Make it bake quicker. So with that heat under there, you have to be stirring or else it will get lumpy. You can't make it get lumpy. I'm gonna be stirring, and when it starts to get thick, I'll come back and then I'll show you how I'll have it in my pan. I'm gonna preheat my oven to about 200 to 220 degrees Celsius and Fahrenheit. You can do it. Put no bake pan low heat. So you have to know what you're doing. Because as soon as the heat catches this, so you have to make sure at the bottom you are stirring just like how you then stir your cornmeal porridge. But this is thick. So we want it to be thick because we're not gonna porridge we make. We're gonna bake it. So I'll soon come back. Okay, now family, if you never click off of the video, you would realize that this is like after about 3 minutes with that high heat underneath it, it starts getting thick there. So in the bottom, around and around, you have got to start stirring it. You have it there, so you can't left this, you know. You can't left this gone, otherwise when you come back, it will turn something upon you. If you got enough, would all be a kit in a pot and it will go, because you're not greasy pot, so it now can slice out. So you see, look at this. You see it's getting thick there at the bottom on me. Yeah, so you have to, because you're pre-cooking this cornmeal. Everybody know how cornmeal grains stay. And you saw that I used the real green yellow cornmeal. That is the cornmeal for pudding, not refined peel out cornmeal, strong cornmeal. So look at it. So I'm gonna do this for probably another pretty good 5 minutes straight. You have to be here. So when it is at the point where I'm gonna scrape it out in the pudding pan or the baking tin, I will come back and show you how it looks. Me soon come. Alright, now family, I've turned my flame down. When it starts, if it starts boiling, popping up, like it's gonna pop up and like it's gonna, you know, in your face. You got to turn your heat down. So I've turned my heat off at this point. And you see how thick it is? Yep. The cornmeal grain is still yet to be properly cooked, but the baking will still do that. But you want it at this consistency. So it's gonna give me a hard time to get into the, because it's hot, so I soon come. So this is it. You got to be careful right here, family. I just brought this to show you because I wanted you to see it. So I'm gonna go off camera now because, you know, I have to use one to scrape and one to hold it, the pot, and get everything out of this pot in there. I'm soon come. Okay, we are right back. So I'm gonna get everything out my pot and all of that. My oven is there being preheated 230, but I think I'll go at 250. So that thick part, you want to just level it off. That came from the bottom. Let me show you the bottom. So as soon as you feel it start sticking like this in the bottom, you gotta stop. My oven is there well preheated and all of that. I level off, and I'm gonna put my foil paper on top, but I'm gonna put the inside down. I'm gonna cover it down and put it in the oven. And then when I'm at the point where I'm gonna use the rest of, yes, where is it, Dad? Oh, it's right here. Okay. I'm gonna put a little more sugar, and I'm gonna have this, and I'm gonna use it for the wet top. I'll show you how. I'm soon come in the next clip. Okay, now fam, after about 45 minutes, your pudding will set. Now I've warmed up. I have put some extra sugar in this. I've added a little extra melted butter, and I've also put a touch of molasses. Now this will form the soft top. So you want to start spooning on. I've removed the foil. You want to start spooning on this a little all over, and you're going to spoon it on in batches. Now you're also going to lower your flame now to 175 degrees Celsius. Now that the pudding is set and almost like it's baked, but it's not baked, so you're going to spoon. This will form the soft top, and it's up to you how much you want on top of your pudding. So you can go 2 or 3 batches depending on you, and you're going to put it back into the oven until this forms a soft top on there. I might go another batch. As soon as it gets soft and jelly like, you will after this I'm going to return it to the oven, and when this at the top here gets soft and becomes jelly like, you will add another batch, or if you want a third, and all of that. Uncovered this time, uncovered. We're going to put it back in the oven. Reduce your temperature to 175. Remember, we scalded it, so it's not all that soft. Yeah. So very gently, you're gonna spoon it. And you could also use some fruit that, like a guava, or you could also use passion, some fruit that pops, the flavor that pops in this to give it that nice flavor at the top. So I will come back to show you when I'm adding the second I explain to you. So when you see me next, this pudding will be ready. So guys, this is our finished pudding. You see me there marking out a slice, but it's still hot. It can't come out as yet. So you see all this wetness on the top, and you could do more. I did 2 layers, and it's at the side there. I have to wait until it's cool and the side starts pulling away. So when it's cool and I can take this slice out, I'll come back, remove that slice, and I'll show you what it looks like. And I also show you that the inside is properly baked. So I've got to leave it. Some people say, Miss Debbie, me can't wait, you know. Me love hot pudding too, but for presentation purpose, I've got to wait until I can take out a slice. So family, this is the finished product. This is where I took out the slice from. This is what I took out, Dad. You up on it? Yeah. Let them see it. Okay. So you see my little cherry and my little raisin. I have my nice little softness I go on this, so and I have my little soft top. So if you want more soft top, I said, you can do what you want. From my kitchen to yours. From my Jamaican kitchen to your family table, to your plate, and most of all to your stomach. It is Jamaican cornmeal pudding done in my kitchen. You can too. if you just follow this recipe. Now look at that, you have your back part there, and this is the paper that I had down in there, and it's pretty, it's still warm, but it's good now to eat. So please do enjoy. If you're a person that makes custard, you can make additional custard to serve it with and all of that. I want to thank you for staying with me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. Remember to make sure that you're subscribed. When you watch these videos, you've got to subscribe. Remember to make sure when you subscribe, hit the notification bell, press the option that says all and all of that. Now, this time of the year, when it comes to Easter, my mother is always baking pudding. And all of my Jamaican, they want to watch this, you know. Anyone who don't watch this, you can remember when it comes to Easter time, pudding is always been baked at my house, especially a cornmeal pudding. So what I'll do, I'll leave for you in the description of this video the proportionate measurements of what I use. So I can't tell you which size pudding pan this for me. So you see me can't hold it up now. It's a bit on the cool side. No, I stay long enough, I'm hungry. So I can't say what size pudding, but this is the smallest one I have. And as I said to you before, a pudding pan is the best thing to bake a pudding in. My mother always said it's shallow, it's wide, so it's easier to bake. And remember, I did that pre-cooked scalding process, make it bake faster and all of that. Remember to be you, do you. Most of all, love you some cornmeal pudding this Easter.